Teen girls are showing up to the doctor with tics. Experts think anxiety, depression, and TikTok could be playing a role. I have motor tic syndrome. Something that I've had since I'm a kid. I have tics. I have eye tics. I have all kinds of tics. If I don't get sleep or if I eat a lot of sugar, and when have I done that? Thank God I've never done that. But if I do these things, if I don't care for my overall health, the tics will get worse. I do not have the vocal component of Tourette's where I would yell words that would get me kicked off this site where you're watching the show. I don't have that. But people do. Tourette syndrome is a genetic nervous system disorder. It can cause tics, repetitive involuntary movements, or sounds. It mostly impacts boys, and the tics physically start when a person is young and then develop over time. But women get them as well, and now women's tics, and you may know more than me, but I read this article. They seem that they're being exacerbated by meaning made worse, by the content they're watching on TikTok. And TikTok, ironically, TikTok. So these people that have Tourette's are watching people on TikTok and just stroking out. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, it says doctors noted that what's happening isn't necessarily Tourette's.
It's not Tourette's.
But a functional movement disorder.
It's a functional movement disorder because kids want to fit in. They want to fit in. They want a community. People all over the world want a community. Whether it's hot people or rich people or fucking activists or poets or fucking some dumb hick. They all want a community. And even people that any community will do, the standards for what community you end up in are not high. People don't care. So if you have to have tics as part of the initiation to get into the community, go, hey, you tick, I tick. We're like this. So I don't understand. So some kids have pulled out their phones and they show the doctors TikTok, and it's full of these Tourette's cooking and alphabet challenges. Now, I don't know what those are, but I imagine it's people with Tourette's cooking.
And just screaming like different slurs and flipping
as they
off
cook.
Their mom and cooking everything.
Because it's funny.
It's
funny when you make an omelet and you go, faggot. It's funny. That's funny. I'd watch that, but I wouldn't because then maybe I'd tick more. That's the game. And then I can't blame, nobody would believe. People don't even believe I do. If I just started saying horrible things, nobody's going to say, oh, he has Tourette. No one would care. It's mild Tourette's, and I can't get away with anything. Like I have mild homosexuality. My homosexuality is not pronounced, but it's effective when it needs to be. I have sex with men, but that's not really what being gay is anymore. Being gay is not really having sex with men. It's really dyeing your hair. It's gone from having sex with men to dyeing your hair, which is much easier to do. Having sex with men, you have to put a penis in your mouth, like an entire penis, or in your butt, or you have to put your penis in someone else's butt. It's an activity. And dyeing your hair is relatively simple. You would dye it a purple or a blue or a green and then not have sex with men, women, or anyone, but you can be queer. You can be queer and go, I'm queer. And you go, well, what does that mean? And they go, well, I reject the gender binary and I'm pansexual. You go, well, what does that mean? Well, I have sex with anyone. Well, who have you had sex with? Well, not anyone, really. Maybe I have sex, but usually it's I'm pansexual, but I'm not having sex with a person of the same sex. I just have sex with my boyfriend, but I'm a white woman with blue hair, so I'm queer. So it's interesting that I have a very mild form of homosexuality. It has not progressed into dyed hair and the rejection of the actual sex acts, because that's the heightened form of homosexuality where you reject any and all sexual contact, but you replace it with fun glitter and hairstyles and things like that. Some kids have pulled out their phones. They show the doctors, hey, I'm watching people with Tourette's cook and do alphabet challenges. The Jerusalem Post reported that these disorders can be treated. Doctors suggest kids take a social media break. Isn't it time to take a break if social media is giving you Tourette syndrome? Isn't it time to take a break if social media is giving you an involuntary tic disorder? It might be time to take a break. And I don't know I don't think these kids are forcing these tics. This is actually something that is happening to them, right?
Well, you also see communities on TikTok of people who claim they have like Asperger's or autism.
Right.
And they love to, what's it called? Where they shake. I forget what they call it. Where they do this together.
I don't know.
Because it's sensory overload. So it's girls jumping on their bed doing this because they love to have autism. So it's a lot of like feigned. They see that these people are very popular, and a lot of these things are feigned to be just like interesting, you know. So yeah. I think a lot of this is probably fake, right?
I think we've gotten to a point now where technology, I've made this point ad nauseum, has flattened everybody to the point where people aren't really developing personalities anymore. So the only way to distinguish themselves is to get a disorder and get it quick. Get a disorder and get it quick. Anxiety, depression, Tourette's. Don't be picky. Asperger's, anything. Get on the spectrum and stay there. That seems to be, if you want a social life, the best thing you can do as a child is to develop some type of disorder. Now, in the real world, that doesn't work as well, but online, people actually gravitate to each other on the basis of shared horror, shared pain, shared problems. Nobody online is like, I love this, and the other person's like, I love that, let's together. Usually it's like, I am suffering, I am also suffering, I hate this, I also hate this. Let's form a bond. And all of these kids, their meaningful social interactions are primarily online. So what they're doing is they're going online and they're saying, who else has a problem? And certain problems look more fun than others. And I mean, and I'm not saying that these problems aren't real and they don't exist and that people don't genuinely have them. I'm saying that this word that nobody likes to use, social contagion, everyone hates that because usually when people talk about it, they talk about a lot of the women that are now identifying as non-binary. And they're saying, you know, there are people that say, how many people are non-binary? And the entire class at Oberlin College raises their hand. And you go, statistically, it's impossible. I come from a time where being a faggot was special. Now, not so much. Now, part of this social contagion word that people don't like is because it was used against gay people and against all, you know, we're saying this isn't really who you are. You're just doing this to piss off Tipper Gore or something. I don't know. Remember Al Gore's fat wife who didn't like Marilyn Manson? I don't know if she had a problem with gays, but whatever. She didn't like Marilyn Manson, and I thought he was cool back then. Not so much now. It's gone in a weird direction I can't fully support. But Antichrist Superstar was a good album if you were a 7th grade goth, closeted gay guy who was just starting to discover that you could crush up pills and put them up your nose. Now, people hate that word social contagion, but we're social animals. We exist in a social space. And all of the things we do primarily are to make ourselves achieve a level of comfort. And then there are people out there that don't want that level of comfort and push through it. And those are the people who genuinely, not always, but generally can accomplish things, because to accomplish things, you have to push yourself out of a comfort zone.